There was an interesting moment over the weekend when your New York colleague, Congressman Jamal Bowman, and he's under investigation for this now after Capitol Police say he pulled a fire alarm in one of the House office buildings. Democrats were trying to delay a final vote on the bill. There he is pulling the fire alarm. He says it was an accident. He thought pulling the alarm would open a door based on the fact that the doors to his right there were locked, and there was a sign that he said he was, I think someone said it was confusing. I'll be honest, it doesn't really make sense to me, his explanation. Have you talked to him? What's going on there?
I mean, listen, I think if you actually do see some of the photos of the signs, I think there's something to be said about the government's about to shut down. There's a vote clock that's going down. The exits that are normally open in that building were suddenly closed.
So you pulled the fire alarm?
So what I am here to say is that House administration and U.S. Capitol Police and Jamal Bowman are an active, and he's fully participating in saying there was a misunderstanding. But what I do think is important to raise is the fact that Republicans, representatives like Nicole Malliotakis and others, immediately moved to file motions to censure, motions to expel, before there has even been conversations that are finished to even see if there was a misunderstanding here. But what they did do, while they did that, what they did not do was to commit to the same when George Santos was actually found guilty after a thorough investigation of 13 federal charges. He's indicted on everything from wire fraud to actual lying of House investigators. And they have been buddying up and giggling with him on the House floor, and they are protecting someone who has lied to the American people, lied to the United States House of Representatives, lied to congressional investigators, but they're filing a motion to expel a member who, in a moment of panic, was trying to escape a vestibule. Give me a break. And so the idea that there is somehow any kind of equivalence to someone who is actively trying to clear up a situation that he himself admits he's embarrassed. He released a statement last night. He apologized. And they are protecting someone who has not only committed wire fraud, not only defrauded veterans, not only lied to congressional investigators, but is openly gloating about it, is absolutely humiliating to the Republican caucus. And I think that they should really check their own values.
Well, gang, you got caught red-handed. And once again, you got borderline illiterates like AOC giving us nothing more than patent projection, accusing others of doing precisely what she and the Democrats are always guilty of: lying, fraud, and double standards. We're going to see exactly what's going on with the latest Democrat absurdity and see how it actually fits in with what the woke left has planned for the nation as a whole. You're not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. It is I, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, here to help you to think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Also, make sure to share this video with friends and family if you would. We are once again being throttled by big tech, so I need your help to get the hopeful message of this channel out to as many people as possible. So the demon rats stooped to a new low over the weekend. New York Representative Jamal Bowman obstructed the official proceedings of the House on Saturday morning by pulling a fire alarm that cleared the Capitol building right before a vote on a government funding bill. The Democrats were reportedly trying to stall for time on the bill, and Bowman gave it to them. This is the purported image of Representative Jamal Bowman pulling the fire alarm and blatantly committing a felony. President Trump weighed in on the controversy. He did not mince words. Taken to Truth Social, he wrote, quote, "Will Congressman Jamal Bowman be prosecuted and imprisoned for very dangerously pulling and setting off the main fire alarm system in order to stop a congressional vote that was going on in D.C.? His egregious act is covered on tape, a horrible display of nerve and criminality. It was a very dangerous obstruction of an official proceeding." You know, the very same term that's being used against our J6 prisoners. Actually, his act may even have been worse. He must suffer their same fate. When will his trial begin? Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene is demanding the same thing. Jamal Bowman must be treated exactly the same as J6 defendants. He was a school principal. He knows exactly what pulling a fire alarm means. He did it while the Dems were trying to stall for time for the Senate and the Dem whip had just called for a motion to adjourn. And of course, what roasting would be complete without the one and only Cat Turd, who ironically tweeted out Bowman's own tweet in response to Trump's indictments: "No one in this country is above the law." But that, of course, is precisely what we're seeing here, aren't we? Take a look at this blatant propaganda that was spewed from the ultra-woke MSNBC.
Last thing I want to mention, and then we're going to take a quick break. There was a mention of Jamal Bowman, Congressman Jamal Bowman, and the pulling of some sort of fire alarm. And I just want to read for you some of the reporting so you understand what actually went on there. There were some reports that began to emerge about Representative Bowman, who was seen pulling some sort of fire alarm in the Cannon House office building earlier today. We got a statement on that saying Congressman Bowman did not realize he would trigger a building alarm as he was rushing to make an urgent vote. The congressman regrets any confusion, just to clarify some things on that, because I know there was likely some folks kind of scratching their heads wondering what it was they were asking Speaker McCarthy about.
Yeah. Aren't you so glad she clarified what's going on here? I mean, don't you sense your feeling of bewilderment dissipating as we speak? I mean, you see, this is why obviously anyone could easily confuse a fire alarm with a door opener. I mean, it happens all the time. It's a wonder that anyone could possibly get anything done, given how often this confusion happens. Now, do not think for a second that MSNBC thinks that you are that stupid. They don't. They know that you know they're lying. They know that, and they are treating any and all explanatory pronouncements coming from the Democrats as gospel truth, and anything that comes from the Republicans is demonic drivel coming from the bowels of hell. They know you know that, and yet they don't care. Why? That's exactly what we're going to answer. But first, gang, did you know that the latest data from the American Heart Association indicates that adults with fatty liver were 3.5 times more likely to have heart failure than those without? And did you know that the American Liver Foundation estimates that as many as 100 million Americans have fatty liver? I mean, that's you, that's me. We cannot save America if we don't take care of ourselves. Our livers are our body's master detoxifier, but after decades of wear and tear, our livers slow down. They become sluggish, and this is why so many of us struggle with weight gain, feeling tired all the time. But gang, fortunately, there's a simple, all-natural solution. Liver Health Formula contains 12 powerful botanicals clinically proven to recharge and protect your liver at the cellular level. It helps restore your liver's detoxifying abilities. It boosts your energy levels, and it works remarkably well to fight that horrible fatty liver. Liver Health Formula is backed by proven science and approved by American doctors. And the best part is that every single bottle is manufactured right here in the USA. Click on that link below right now and try Liver Health Formula completely risk-free. Do it today and you'll receive 5 free gifts. So don't wait. Click on that link below or go to getliverhelp.com/Turley right now. Matt Walsh almost got this. He was very close when he took to Twitter and he wrote, quote, "The defense of Jamal Bowman is that he wasn't trying to disrupt official proceedings. He's just the dumbest man on the planet and doesn't understand how doors work. If that's the case, then he's still unfit for office. Either way, he should be kicked out of Congress." Now, Matt almost got it there. I think Matt is assuming that the Democrats and the woke propagandists and the lamestream media overlook the utter stupidity of the excuse. But I don't think that's what's going on here. They didn't overlook anything. This excuse is intended to be absurd, and they're rubbing that absurdity in our faces. You see, the whole Bowman fiasco reveals that our nation is currently being ruled by a woke system of governance known as anarcho-tyranny. And we've all witnessed anarcho-tyranny firsthand in some way, shape, or form. For example, when a police officer charges you a $100 fine because your parking meter went 10 seconds over, all the while ignoring the homeless guy 5 feet away from you, shooting heroin and taking your crap on the sidewalk. That's anarcho-tyranny. It's the weaponization of the law against the law-abiding, all the while exempting criminals from the law. And it's because the purveyors of wokeness see criminals as victims and the law-abiding as perpetrators. Law-abiding citizens perpetuate a political, economic, and legal system infested with racist bigotry. And so criminality, when it's practiced by the protected classes of woke theorists, criminality is actually a cry for help. That, in a nutshell, is anarcho-tyranny. And it's literally destroying our nation's cities. I talked about this in my video on the failed politics of Chicago over the weekend, where the underclass and the white affluent upper class are teaming up in a woke political coalition to vote in the single most radical politicians on the planet. And that's exactly what we're seeing with this woke nut Bowman and the whole of the Democratic Party. They are openly nationalizing the very anarcho-tyranny that's currently ravaging our nation's cities. So what you saw over the weekend, I think, can be seen as a test run for just how much lawlessness the Democrats can openly get away with. And now the only question is, how effectively are the Republicans going to fight back against this? The Roman general Pompey once said that when conquering a city, stop quoting laws to men with swords. Stop quoting laws to men with swords. The last thing we need to see from the Republicans is more tweets and stump speeches. The time to crush the lawless Democrats is now.
Hey gang, I know what it's like to feel alone out there in these turbulent times, but I broke free. If you too have been looking for a community with like-minded patriots who are serious about resisting globalism, building a parallel economy, and having intelligent and deep fellowship on a regular basis, then you've come to the right place. In my Courageous Patriot Insiders community, we're building a close-knit movement of, by, and for patriots who are breaking free from the outrage and despair cycles of the mainstream media and taking on the fight against globalism. Every week, I deep dive into the content I can't share on big tech and give you the cliff notes on the truth of how patriots just like you are building up their communities, starting patriot businesses, and fighting the woke in both public and private. All with a few history and political lessons from yours truly, of course. If you want to stop feeling alone as a patriot and stand together with this fast-growing community, be sure to click on the link in the description below. Don't wait. Join me and my Patriot Coalition today, and let's get fighting.